seasons are changing. It's definitely fall. We've had a couple frosts already, and definitely you can tell winter is coming. As usual, I'm unprepared. It never seems like you're caught up. It seems like you're always chasing your own tail. You never are prepared or ready for something. So I mean, that just, in turn, that goes for winter. I've not really been ready for winter. I'd never had time to cut any firewood up and let it season for an entire year. And I don't have anywhere to store it. I don't have a woodshed yet. So I mean, that's still one of the projects I'd like to get done this year, is to build a woodshed. But for firewood, I really like to burn firewood to help heat my house during the winter time, to help kind of cut some of my energy costs. So today I'm looking for firewood that's dry enough to burn. So my Fireplace is a Fireplace insert. It's like an EPA approved insert, so you want really dry wood. You want 20% or less probably to burn in the Fireplace. And so I'm looking for some dead trees that I can cut up that are low on moisture. So this one I cut up the other day. This one has been down for probably a year, and so I cut it up and split it up, and it was 23 to 24% on the inside. So it's not quite dry enough, but it's getting close. So I'm going to continue to search for more dead trees that are fallen or still standing, and see if I can find something that's low enough. So what I've got to test moisture here is I've got a little moisture probe off of, this is off of Amazon. I can't remember what it costs. I'm going to guess it was probably around 20 bucks. But it's got little probes on here, and you just poke that into the wood, and it tells you your moisture content. So today, and probably the rest of this weekend, I'm just going to go around. We're going to continue to cut firewood. I'm going to see if I can gather as much as I can, and we're going to see if I can find any that's dry enough to burn this winter. No matter whatever I find, I'm going to go ahead and probably burn it in the wood stove. It just won't be as efficient. This was the bottom. So take our moisture meter here. If you guys will be able to read it or not. It's not reading anything right now. Basically push that in. Look at that one. About 28.5%. This was the bottom one, okay? This is where I cut it off at the ground. So this is closest to the ground. 28.5. Alright, so this piece right here, this was more from the it's higher up in the tree because it's smaller diameter. Still beeping. Around what, 23.5%, somewhere in there. So a little bit lower further you get away from the ground. You got any of these vines? You got any vines on your wood? My wife is extremely allergic to this. She'll swell up like crazy. I'm not. I'm slightly allergic. I actually got like a couple bumps on my pinky the other day. I'd get a couple bumps and my wife would like swell up. Her eyes would swell shut. So Got people allergic to like poison oak. Pull off all the vines. Use gloves. So this wood is even smaller, and it's at the top. It's still beeping at me, but it's 17.6%. So this here at the top of this tree is dry enough. Woohoo! So this tree behind me, it's been dead for quite a long time. It's probably been dead as long as I've owned this property, so maybe 3 years. But it's definitely been dead for a while. All the bark is off the tree. It may not be any good. We're gonna go ahead and cut it down. We'll see if the wood's worth using or not. But we'll go ahead and cut this tree down and see what it looks like. Even though this tree doesn't have really any bark on it, it was still pretty solid, so I think this is going to make some good firewood. Alright, so that one's like 20, about 23 and a half. This ended up being honey locust. I got further down to where there was bark and there was 2-inch long thorns. So this is honey locust. Good thing about honey locust is at least after it dies, a couple years later the bark falls off and you don't have to mess with as many thorns, but not quite as dry as I want. I'm splitting this honey locust up, and even on the inside there's a thorn that it had grew around. That's one of the thorns from the tree. Isn't that crazy? On the inside. Man, that'll wear you out. So I did find a little bit of wood that actually was below 20%, so it's smaller diameter stuff. It was higher up in the tree, so that probably played a role in it. That was first 2 trees I cut up, they were an oak. That last tree I cut up was a locust. So looks like I'm not really going to find much wood that's below 20%. I'm just going to have to hope that it dries a little bit more before I really start burning wood. I do have a little bit of wood left over from last year that I split, and it was down around 14% dryness. So I'll probably start off with that wood and then move on to this wood throughout the year. I'm hoping to be able to go through and not go through a whole tank of propane. So hoping, we'll see what happens, never know, but I'm hoping that I don't have to buy propane in the wintertime that will supplement enough with wood heat. Other things that's coming up here, we'll be trying to build a wood shed here soon so I can transfer all this wood to a wood shed that'll be closer to the house. We are working on the old barn back there. It's a little slow going. We do have 5 fence posts in, and probably be working on that again this weekend. Try and get our fence posts in, and then we'll start getting our perimeter fence for a barnyard. So we are still working on the barn. It's just basically I need my wife to be here to help me because it's kind of a 2-person job. So slow going. So I think I'll just wrap it up for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.